Hey guys, it's the Raw wrap-up from WrestlingMayhemShow.com. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter, back in here from Mayhem Studios here in Pittsburgh, PA, because Raw was here in Pittsburgh, so it was a little occupied. Thank you guys for filling in last week and getting it going. It was a great conversation. But with me, I got the crew. We're talking also from the Pittsburgh area. He's the Rizz. Rizz plays games on your YouTubes as well as the BossBattlePodcast.com, where you can hear him talking video games and all the like. And also recently, your Jagoffs podcast. Check that out too.
I'm popular, Sorg.
You're everywhere, man. Thanks for joining us.
I am like you now. I am all over the podcasting world.
And also hashtag Free Mike's Guns. It's Mad Mike up in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Yes, Sorg, we're doing it live for Raw. Banks Amore 2016. How you doing, America?
How you doing, Mike? And also with us from Johnstown, PA, Bobby F. J. Town, also of the tremendous BossBattlePodcast.com.
I'm doing this for $1,000 tonight, Sorg. And if I win, I get $5,000.
Man, those Patreons are doing better than I've been seeing in the reports. What you can support
and Bobby's a Patreon supporter as well.
So you pay.
So basically, I'm doing this for free.
Okay. But it's a Raw wrap-up. Let us know your thoughts at Mayhem Show on Twitter, and you can join us live here. We're every Tuesday, relatively right after when Monday Night Raw goes off the air. So let's get into it, and I think this is the most important topic of the night. Obviously, a valid news source, as in the only thing that I saw as a notification from WWE's app on my phone, Jinder Mahal has returned to Raw.
Sorg, don't hinder Jinder.
Don't hinder the Jinder, no.
He had to take out his best friend.
Yeah. Yep.
Former three-man band member, Heath Slater.
Almost had a two-man band, but you know, that's how it goes. I thought I've been loving this Heath Slater thing, and I think wasn't he on SmackDown last week?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so that he keeps going back and forth. I hope this means all the rest of 3MB will come back.
Sorg, I'm pretty sure that part is not going to happen.
Yeah.
What?
Drew Galloway's on TNA.
Tune in to the Midweek War, where we talk about exactly what Drew McIntyre is up to.
Oh, okay.
It's not much.
Who else has he teamed up with?
Well, I just hope that Heath Slater comes out every week on every show and is interrupted by someone new joining the roster.
Yeah, like somebody
like tomorrow night on SmackDown, Shelton Benjamin should come out and give him an exploder suplex.
Could be that, or maybe like old members of Nexus could come back.
Or the core, Ezekiel Jackson.
Oh yeah,
Michael Tarver, we're looking for you.
I hope he comes back with the eye patch from Lucha Underground.
Oh.
Michael Tarver's in the back, like just sitting in like not the front row, but like in the very back row of the floor seats, just still texting on his phone.
We're sending out all points.
Now he's playing Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah.
We're sending out an all points bulletin for Percy Watson. Where is Percy Watson?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. that was his thing, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But can we mention this? Remember how last week we were all excited about that Pokemon Go storyline?
Yeah.
I already hate it.
I still love it.
Really? It was good.
I already hate it because, first of all, being the well-renowned Pittsburgh representative Pokemon Go expert, Sorg,
as demonstrated on GetJagoff.com.
That is not how you Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's true. He's like swatting at things.
R-Truth is also an old man. He doesn't know how to Pokemon Go. R-Truth, you have to remember, K-Quick teamed with the Road Dogg.
You know what? And also,
he's an old man.
Tell that to the people that went off the cliff playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well, we can't because they're dead.
Oh.
Oh wow.
WWE has a true Poke expert on their staff. Xavier Woods.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also say Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Rizz. Fandango and
Tyler
Breeze.
Yes.
Timothy.
They're no Xavier Woods.
Do you want to know why I love this Pokemon Go thing of R-Truth? Do you want to know why, Rizz? It's one very
Why?
simple reason. This is the first time R-Truth has not sang himself to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not the first time.
no, the first time.
Remember when he didn't come out to music at all?
He still sang.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He was by himself.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't remember that part.
This is the first major time. Let's say.
The first significant time.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing. Now, if he changes the rap lyrics to Pokemon Go lyrics, or if he starts coming out to the Poke rap, then I am with you. I am done.
I wanted to sing
Unless-
I play Pokemon every day.
I think somebody's angling for a sponsorship. But anyways,
Yeah,
moving on.
WWE has spent a lot of time mentioning Pokemon Go on everything they're on.
Well, I think it's more of a trending sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
What's
then
relevant?
anything like it's like talking about
Vince
like
is just
anything.
going, look at this Pokemon Go.
Dude, I mean, Eli Drake even mentioned it on TNA.
Right. I mean, it's like anything topical, So I think other than that, there were some more important things. First of all, the first 45 minutes of Raw were tremendous. It involved 4 or 5 people, and
It reminded me of old school Raw, like back in the Attitude Era.
Didn't it? Like it started with Sasha, then Charlotte, and Jericho, and Enzo, and it was
A lot of sexual
tremendous. A lot of sexual tension, a lot of
There was-
googly eyes, a lot of things like
Love
that.
how you doings?
A lot of
Mhm.
awkward Jericho-ness, which was great. A lot of Bon
Lot of-
Jovi references.
A lot of depositing things in banks.
Oh.
Oh boy.
How you doing? How you doing? I did have a question though. When was the last time Raw opened with the women's or Divas champion?
February 4th, 2016. I don't know.
I was gonna say that's a really quick answer, Bobby.
Yeah, well,
What I'm saying is, it's been a long time, and it felt very fresh and new, and I appreciate it.
And I think it was cool. I felt like if you sat down and watched any hour of Raw tonight, you saw a complete episode.
Mhm.
There were things like, hey, Brock Lesnar's coming back, and you should stay tuned for that. And hey, Seth's going to take on Sammy later. But if you just I really can only watch the 8 to 9 hour, you left satisfied. You didn't have to get to the end in order to be like, oh yeah, and I think that creates a really interesting thing where maybe they're like, well, I want to entertain you while you're here. And I know Raw has been angling towards we want to catch people in between all the other shows throughout the night on Monday night or Monday Night Football whenever it's on or anything like that, and they kind of book those sorts of things. But again, it was like a complete there's a lot of stuff happening. If you tuned in, there's something that might hook you for the next 20 minutes to 45 minutes.
Mhm.
And I thought that was awesome. And the pacing's been great and significant things. You had 3 or 4 very significant things compartmentalized very well in this show, and I think it's great. And once again, it feels like 3 hours is passing by a lot quicker than it used to. Thoughts?
No, it did. I mean, it does seem a lot quicker than it usually does because we're seeing fresh stuff. Like we're seeing a feud that nobody really wanted to see in the first place escalate into something that I'm really interested in.
And you're talking about the Brock RKO thing?
Yeah, there's that. And also the Darren Young and Titus O'Neal match.
Oh yeah, that came out of nowhere for me. And again, I know they kind of set it up on the pre-show today, but no, yeah, that did turn into something really interesting.
Because remember, they broke up the first time because Titus snapped, and now they're having this other one where Titus is, I guess you can say, jealous.
I think he's just a dick.
Yeah,
He's just being a dick.
Titus is a dick, right, Bobby?
Mhm.
Yeah, Titus is a
The
dick.
most dangerous man in WWE.
He has good recommendations for following people on Twitter though.
Yeah, like
It's
me.
true.
There's people around like a sack of potatoes. Just don't care. Just tosses them off to the side.
Well, outside of that, and then of course we did have. Well, okay, let's talk about Rusev. Let's talk about everything around Rusev. And again, I think like a lot of things have kind of a beginning, middle, and end. We had Henry, putting over the idea that he's going to be part of the Olympics as their ambassador, leading into his match with Rusev, leading into Roman Reigns of all people setting up, like all together. And I know that I had to groan from Mike before Mike will let you get your thoughts in there, but I found myself seeing, first a lot happen with that. Rusev is involved with a lot of stuff, being the champion as he should be. Everybody should be gunning for him, but rolling into Reigns, and again Reigns coming out kind of being a badass and not talking, which I think is exactly what he needs to do right now. And obviously playing him against a Russian, Bulgarian fellow. Is a good way to get the American sentiment. It worked.
Is it, Sorg?
It
worked for
Is
Cena.
it? Did you hear that crowd, Sorg?
I thought they were overly positive.
No, no, they were not. I think they just need to take a break from Roman.
They did for 30 days.
No, no, like in.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
What? You're not over it. You had a break. I mean, all we had was this cardboard cutout sitting outside attracting Pokemon.
Well, no, because when Roman Reigns was gone.
Scarf, did you know putting a purple scarf on a cardboard cutout of a Samoan attracts Pokemon?
What?
Everybody knows that.
It sounds very alluring, Sorg. Anyway,
Roman is his own Pokestop.
Yeah, Roman is a stop, all right.
Twirl him around to get his balls.
I feel like when Roman had his time off, the whole Dean and Seth program was about Roman. It was Itchy and Scratchy talking about Poochie. Like Poochie had gone back to his home planet of American Samoa, but everyone was still talking about him. And
because he was still in the match.
Yeah, I know, but
So
now he wasn't
not
booked
on-
in anything, and we could have gotten an actual break from him. Instead of putting him against someone who the fans cheer, even though they're not supposed to. I can literally think of 13 other people it would have been better to see go for the U.S. title on Raw.
That is That is a very specific number.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Like
I can literally think of 13 people.
Like the GIF I posted when you're expecting Kurt Angle and you get Roman Reigns. Just disappointment. Just
because
disappointment.
who knows if Kurt Angle is actually showing up. If Kurt Angle showed up tonight, it would have been great because it was in the city where Kurt won his gold medal
with a broken freaking neck.
There we go.
Yes, of course. But I mean, and okay, so Kurt Angle's not good at wrestling. That's fine.
Yeah.
How about Darren Young, who is managed by a former presidential candidate?
I've been waiting for that to come up.
I'm shocked it hasn't yet. I'm truly shocked.
I feel like it will. I think like late October it'll come up.
late October, early November. Gee, why do you think that might be so?
Calendars. Aside from that, what else kind of stuck out for you guys from Raw tonight? I thought we had a great match, Sammy and Seth. Although I gotta say something, I'm watching that match, and I thought it was a great match and everything. And in your back of your mind, you're like, oh yeah, this is just to make Seth look good going into the title match, right? But still, like a part of me like looks at like Sammy could win this. Like Sammy is not yet in the Dolph Ziggler. Like, oh, of course this isn't going to work out for him, no matter how good this match is.
For the two people that were in the hangout with me, what were the exact words that I said? What if Sammy won?
Oh, yeah.
Like that bounced in my head, just like it bounced in your head, Sorg. And I'm just sitting there, I'm going, what happens if Sammy wins? I mean, if Sammy loses, it's no fault for him. But what if he would have won that match?
I think they kind of should have made, because Balor brought up the point that Seth didn't have to beat anyone to get into the match.
Mm-hmm.
Foley could have easily changed that match into, hey, you know what? Balor has a point. If you don't even have to say make it a a contendership match. Just say like, if Sammy wins this,
Mhm.
we'll consider putting him in the match. Like not even taking Seth out, but consider putting Sammy in. They could have done
Another
something like that.
another weird match that I kind of liked, and I'd like to see where this goes, is that Sheamus Cesaro match. Like the feud of, hey, it's not if you win, it's if you impress us. Remember, they didn't say if you win the match. They said exactly if you impress us, we'll give you a title shot.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Period.
That it's always open. It's not
Yeah.
like there's not this promise of we're going to see like a 3-month battle back and forth with Finn and Seth, and maybe we will.
And it's
To
not
be
even-
honest, maybe we will. Or these other guys, or like, oh yeah, you got that. And in 2 weeks, so we'll see. I don't know, Sheamus or Rusev, Cesaro and Rusev, or for the Universal title or whatever, right? I think that's great, and it gives the air of competitiveness.
And it's not even like, I think they might not know what to do with them.
They know what they do with them.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I'm just thinking-
whatever you feel it is, they have a plan, and it's probably
What-
even more concise than it used to. Now that
Because
they only have one
they
show.
have that open-ended question, though, of what title, what happens if they give it to somebody who doesn't win.
I think Cesaro, Cruiserweight Champion. Let's do it.
Oh no,
That's-
Sorg.
No.
No,
That is the worst idea.
no,
that is the
Sorg.
absolute
It's a
worst idea.
title.
Does he make the
Stand
205-pound weight class?
Stand outside with Cesaro.
Does he make the 205 weight class?
Sorg, stand outside
I
with
want to put on
Roman
purple
Reigns
scarf,
wearing
and I want to see if I can also attract Pokemons.
Pokemans.
It's a
Is it a
Poke
700?
Sorg.
Is it a
Pokemans.
$750 scarf?
700. No, because our Patreon again does not have
By
that
the way,
many people on it.
I love Chris Jericho in numbers.
Oh my gosh.
Like Chris Jericho in numbers. Like the first time he came out with the Geritron 5000,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and then the 6500.
Yep.
And
Well, that was every time that's every time they upgraded it. He
Yeah.
raised the number every time.
And then he had then Cole said 70 tax, and he just went up and went, no, it was 69 tax. And he kept on saying 69 tax. And then now he has a $750 scarf,
Mhm.
which is
So-
amazing.
So I have to ask.
And all leads up to 42.
Not that any of you have the answer to this question, but when
We
he
have
says
the answers
these
for it.
figures, when he says these figures, you might because you're closer to the situation. When he says these figures, when he throws out a $750 scarf, is that Canadian?
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
more
Yeah.
than likely.
Yeah, it's in loonies.
Why wouldn't it be?
It's in loonies. Yeah, I mean that's why Edge and Christian had a $1 bet Canadian over Trish and Lita.
That's what I'm going back to in my head.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course, the dollar bet.
yeah. And speaking of Canadians, hashtag angry Canadian dads.
Mhm.
Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho against the realest guys in the room.
Can I just say, I tweeted it tonight. Chris Jericho there's a reason he's my all-time favorite wrestler. Because every time he comes back, he reinvents himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this has been his best run, at least until, I'd say since early Chris Jericho on Raw. Like his debut.
I gotta say, still my favorite is Suit Jericho.
Yeah.
It took
I
a little
think this
longer
is
for him to
better.
reinvent himself.
Big word, Jericho.
I think
Right.
he
Now-
right now he's doing his best work in a long
Now, I
time.
understand there are elements of Suit Jericho in the current Jericho.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get-
yeah.
Yeah, like that plus him just kind of leaning into, yeah, I might be slightly old and out of touch, and check out this scarf. Like, do you think? Like, I imagine it's one of those things where I imagine that Jericho was somewhere, and at some kind of weird shop with somebody, and it says, "Look at this scarf," and it's like, if I wear it this way, people are gonna hate this.
And
Look how
much-
ridiculous! Like,
like,
I mean,
how
a guy
much
like
is
that,
this?
like Jericho doesn't think he looks good, right? I mean,
Mhm.
well,
I don't
and
think
also,
Jericho cares anymore.
remember he started wearing the scarf with the jacket, and then people started like hating it on Twitter, so he did it more and turned it up. Like, he's admitted this.
And
I
now
got
he's
rid
wearing
I
a
got rid of the
vest.
jacket.
Now the jacket's been killed off TV, as was a plant. You know, I mean, we can't just bring those back. Even though there were definitely more than one jacket that we saw. And I love that. Like we always talk, I know Mike especially, we've had these discussions about logics in wrestling, but like that's a little bit of a continuity thing that does happen, you know, and maybe it's because of the people involved or something. But
I think it's always like, especially if guys like Jericho, who pretty much have carte blanche to say whatever they want, they keep their internal they keep their internal headcanon external. Like they let you know that, hey, even if WWE doesn't want to acknowledge us, I remember what I've done, and I'm going to make sure it follows through.
And I think a little bit of that has to do with the actual podcast he does. He gets to spend time with guys who normally don't get to spend time in WWE. He gets to spend time with, you know, like all the indie darlings, and he gets to see what really ticks inside their head, what ticks inside the fan's head, and how to use that to his favor in becoming a more dickish heel.
Jericho's student game, man, and he's paying attention out there, and I think he's getting a lot.
He is the smartest man.
All right,
ever
so on a scale of 1 to Jinder Mahal, how was Raw for you guys tonight? That's the question we asked, right?
What?
No, how many hours was?
How many hours were watchable of Raw?
Yes, on the scale of 1 to Jinder Mahal, though.
1 to Jinder Mahal, how watchable was Raw?
Because Jinder Mahal would be the 3 MB. So from 1 to 3 MB, how many? MBs?
I'll give you a Drew Galloway and half a Heath Slater.
And I will raise you.
I don't even know what game we're playing. What are the rules?
I will give you a Heath Slater, a Jinder Mahal, and a Hornswoggle. So that's
check.
2.5. Yeah. That is 2.5 MB.
I'm gonna check.
Damn it, Bobby.
All right, but seriously, we like to say, you know, from when it was excruciating to get through three plus hours of Raw, this is the scale. How much of Raw for you was watchable tonight? I'm gonna go with a solid 2.5. And I mean, just because, not that anything was bad. It was just like, you know, attention catching.
Like there's another Strowman squash. There's another Nia squash. You know. It happens.
Yeah.
And honestly, I felt the Seth Sammy stuff could have helped with some kind of like stipulation, like there some stakes, because it just felt like a match to have a match.
But
it was a match to have a match.
I think 2 guys to get thrown together in a match like this, I think is fine for at least the first time.
Yeah, but every other match on the card had a reason. Except for the squash matches, but every other match between superstars had a reason.
Yeah,
and that's one thing that we really like about Raw.
Yeah, there's weight to everything, right?
Yeah, like even if they just said we'll consider Sammy for the SummerSlam.
Did you give time? How much you thought was watchable? Did you give your scale?
2.5.
2.5. 2.5. What about you, Bobby? FJ down. The F is for fantastically Jinder Mahal.
I'm gonna go.
The FJ is for Fast Jinder.
What?
All right. I'm going to go with 2 hours and 35 minutes just to be different, but it's about the same. Okay. 2:30.
All right. Got to up it without going over. How about you, Rizz? Don't bid $1.
$1,000.
I felt like it was coming.
250.
250.
Dang it, Rizz, I'm already over the squash matches, and I'm already over the Pokemon Go stuff.
Dang it, Rizz, I told you not to give Raw that 250.
I already gave that Raw 250. And Sorgatron.
Oh, I said 2.5. Thank you, fellows. This is your Raw wrap-up. You can check out a lot of other shows at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Subscribe to them. There's a lot of buttons there, so you can do that. This is on iTunes and a bunch of other stuff as the WWE RAW wrap-up. And also, you can check out the Wrestling Mayhem Show super feed that gets all the wrestling stuff that we do here, and of course, other shows over at SorgatronMedia.com. If you'd like to join us, we actually have a chat room, and I've been kind of experimenting with an open hangout during SmackDown Live, the East Coast showing, of course. So that's 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Live.WrestlingMayhemShow.com is the chat room. At least you can join during that time. And at 10 p.m., we will go live shortly thereafter with Wrestling Mayhem Show on the live stream. That will be embedded there as well. And you can join us for the chat room and give us your immediate thoughts of SmackDown, of Raw, of everything else wrestling related, whatever conversations. We don't always go WWE. It's just kind of the broader discussion. And, of course, check out Indie Mayhem Show. We just talked to, thanks to Mad Mike at San Diego Comic-Con, Pentagon Jr. / Pentagon Dark of Lucha Underground. And, of course, we recently talked with John Thorne of the fantastic Absolute Intense Wrestling up in Cleveland, Ohio, which he has disclosed is probably going to be his last outside of his own podcast appearance for a while. So very honored to have him on for that. And everything else, WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com.
Good times.
And, of course, at Mayhem Show on Twitter and Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook group and page. You can talk with us there as well. Please join and comment on wherever you may find this video, or hit us up on all those other places if we're on the audio feed as well. We'll see you guys next time. Keep it raw.